Today we're diving into the highly anticipated White House Crypto Summit. Traders were expecting fireworks, but instead they got, well, let's just say, more of a flickering candle than a raging inferno. What went wrong? What was promised? And what does this mean for Bitcoin, XRP, and the rest of the crypto market? Buckle up, because we've got a lot to unpack. All right, let's set the stage. Before this summit even happened, the crypto world was buzzing. And when I say buzzing, I mean people were betting big. Altcoins were surging, Bitcoin was flexing, and traders were expecting major announcements. Why? Because President Donald Trump has been on a pro-crypto roll lately. His recent posts on Truth Social hinted at something massive, a potential U.S. strategic crypto reserve that could include Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, and Cardano. Now let's be real. If the U.S. government officially backs a crypto reserve, that's a game changer. We're talking about institutional adoption on steroids. That's why when this summit was announced, traders weren't just hopeful, they were euphoric. But did that euphoria last? Well, let's get into it. So, the summit happened. It was chaired by David Sachs, Trump's AI and crypto czar, and let's just say, expectations were sky high. But when the dust settled, the big takeaway was stablecoin legislation. That's right. The major policy highlight was a framework for stablecoin regulation to be in place before August. Now, don't get me wrong, clear regulations on stablecoins are important. But is that the groundbreaking, market-shaking news traders were waiting for? Absolutely not. People were expecting bold moves, a strategic reserve announcement, institutional backing, maybe even federal Bitcoin acquisitions. Instead, they got softer regulatory promises and, well, a whole lot of uncertainty. And how did the market react? Not well. XRP took a hit, dropping 3.5% in 24 hours, landing at 2.4. Just earlier in the week, it was sitting at 2.98. That's a nearly 20% decline since Sunday. Ouch. Cardano's ADA, down over 5%. Solana's SOL took a 4% hit and hovered around $138. Meanwhile, Bitcoin showed resilience. It dropped 2.5% but held firm at around $86,000. Now here's the thing. This wasn't just a typical market dip. This was a direct reaction to dashed hopes. The rally we saw earlier in the week? That was driven by the idea that the US was going all in on crypto. When that didn't happen, reality hit hard, and altcoins suffered the most. Now there was one interesting takeaway from the summit. Trump made it clear he believes the US should never sell its Bitcoin. He even called it foolish that the government had already sold so much of its seized BTC. Now let's pause here. That's a pretty strong statement. Trump is essentially saying Bitcoin should be treated as a long-term asset. Something you hold, not something you offload. And that's significant because if the government takes that stance, it sets the tone for broader institutional adoption. But here's the problem. Saying something and doing something are two different things. And while Trump's words may be bullish, the market needs action, not just statements. And here's where things get a little frustrating. Before the summit, Trump's post led many to believe that the US was officially moving toward a strategic crypto reserve with Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, and Cardano. But then, David Sachs clarified that those mentions were just illustrative, not a commitment, not a policy shift, just an example. And just like that, the rally lost its fuel. It's like being promised a feast and then getting a single breadstick. Sure, it's something, but it's nowhere near what people were expecting. So, here's the big question. Where do we go from here? Some experts believe that while the summit may have disappointed traders in the short term, it could set a powerful precedent globally. Vincent Chalk, CEO of First Digital, had an interesting take. He said, and I quote, "The U.S. prioritization of Bitcoin as a reserve asset not only legitimizes its status as digital gold, but also sets a precedent that could accelerate regulatory frameworks and drive institutional adoption worldwide. Basically, even if the US didn't go all in on crypto just yet, the fact that it's even considering Bitcoin as a reserve asset is huge. Other countries may take that as a signal to start stockpiling their own crypto reserves. And if that happens, we could see a global shift towards crypto-backed financial systems. Another key takeaway here is institutional interest. Chalk also mentioned that such federal confidence in Bitcoin could inspire institutions to move on-chain, increasing liquidity in the decentralized finance market. Think about it. If governments start treating Bitcoin like a strategic asset, big banks and institutions won't want to be left behind. We've already seen major firms like BlackRock push for Bitcoin ETFs. Now imagine what happens if institutions start actually holding Bitcoin on their balance sheets. That could be a long-term bullish signal, even if short-term traders are feeling the burn right now. All right, so we've talked about the summit, the market reaction, and what this means on a global scale. But what about you, the crypto investor? What's next? First things first, don't let short-term dips shake you. Yes, XRP and other altcoins took a hit. Yes, Bitcoin's rally cooled off. But zoom out. Crypto is in a much stronger position today than it was a year ago. Second, keep an eye on regulatory developments. The stablecoin legislation coming in August might not be what traders wanted, but it could still provide clarity for the industry. And regulatory clarity in the long run is a good thing. And third, watch for institutional moves. If companies and governments start accumulating Bitcoin and other major assets, that could be the real turning point. So, was the White House Crypto Summit a game changer? Not quite. It had potential, but it didn't deliver the market-moving news traders were hoping for. Still, the conversation is happening at the highest levels, and that in itself is a sign that crypto is here to stay. What do you think? Was this summit a step in the right direction, or did it fall flat? Let me know your thoughts in the comments or tweet us, AY Network. And remember, stay informed, stay sharp, and as always, keep stacking those sats. This is AY Network, signing off. See you in the next episode. Until next time, stay bullish.